Good afternoon everyone, I am Tiyasha and today I will be presenting my research titled Caste, Cinema, Contributions, Examining Tribal Representation Rights in Article 15, Bhim and Guthlee. This I have chosen with three films. Despite our constitutional safeguards, the social reality of untouchability persists as a structural challenge in 21st century India. My study positions cinema not just as entertainment but as a critical mirror reflecting these societal fractures. We will specifically look at how the vulnerable introduction. We will specifically look at how the vulnerable backward classes, those historically denied social and economic opportunities, are portrayed in their struggle for dignity and inclusion. Representations of tribes, backward classes in India are historically affected by social, educational and economical access and opportunities. Recognizing their vulnerability, the Constitution provides safeguards and reservation to promote equality, dignity and inclusion, but cinema says different. Cinema plays a mirror of society. Films mirror society through sound, visual and cultural narratives. I have chosen three popular films. Popular that I mean that IMDb rating was 5 and higher. The next slide. Existing studies identify a major shift in how the marginalized are shown. We have moved from victims to heroes, transitioning from the old Gandhian way of submissive victims to a modern Ambedkarite way where characters possess their own power. However, most researchers focus on culture or social empowerment. This study addresses a specific research gap that focuses on the legal and constitutional mechanism. The study examining whether changes in these films comes from an outside savior or grassroots resistance, especially using Article 15 of our Constitution as the framework for analysis. Next slide. Objectives of my studies are to compare narrative representation. Does the film rely on an outsider savior or grassroots resistance? Secondly, to identify cinematic symbols and metaphors used to depict subaltern groups. Thirdly, to investigate how these films portray the struggle for basic rights within a landscape of social exclusion. Next slide. In methodology, my research strategy employs qualitative content analysis. This involves a systematic coding of dialogues, scenes and visual symbols to interpret deep-seated meanings. I used purposive sampling to select 3 films rated 5+ on IMDb that specifically focus on grassroots struggle. Next slide. Selected films I have already mentioned. Next slide. Next slide. A unique aspect of this study is how it portrays the 3 pillars of democracy differently across the 3 films. In Bhim, directed by T.J. Nanval, we see the failure of the executive of police bureaucracy, but a celebration of the transformative strength of the judiciary. Next. In Article 15, directed by Anubhav Sinha, the focus is on how the police bureaucracy actually reinforces biased executive power, leading to a total failure of law on the ground. Next slide. In the film Guthlee Ladoo, directed by Ishraq R. Khan, the focus shifts to legislature. While the right to education is legally secured, a legislative gap is visible because the mindset of the upper caste prevents the law from being implemented. Next slide. In In the findings section, my findings reveal two major themes. First, shifting agency. Article 15 relies on the outsider savior trope, where change is handed down by an elite official. In contrast, Bhim highlights grassroots resistance, where characters like Sengini demonstrate genuine agency. Second, the symbolism of exclusion. The films use powerful visual metaphors like separate cups of water or physical barriers in schools to show that untouchability is a lived spatial reality. Even technical craft like high-angle shots is used to make subaltern characters appear inferior or powerless. Continuing with the findings, we see deep functional friction between democratic pillars. Bhim exposes the executive's custodial violence but positions the High Court at the site of court. Finally, we identify the legislative gap. In Guthlee Ladoo, even when the legislature passes laws like Article 21A that encompasses free and compulsory education as a fundamental right for all children aged 6 to 14 years, but implementation is blocked by bureaucratic resistance and deep-seated social vigilance. Next slide. In conclusion, modern Indian cinema has become our democratic watchdog. My research validates that the subaltern must move beyond outsider savior towards grassroots resistance to truly reclaim their rights. While the legislature provides the legal shield and the judiciary provides hope, the executive remains a major barrier. This new wave of anti-caste aesthetics serves as an educational tool in inspire a more socially balanced society. However, the persistence of untouchability as a structural challenge reminds us that the battle of constitutional implementation is ongoing. সিনেমা নিয়ে মুভি নিয়ে একাই করেছি
আসলে আজকে 15 ছাড়া বলতে জানানো
আচ্ছা খুব ভালো সিনেমা গুথলি লাডু বিশেষ করে খুবই ভালো সিনেমা ইউটিউবে
আর্টিকেল 15 ইজ আ ওয়ান্ডার
জয়ভীমটাও খুবই ভালো তামিল সিনেমা হিন্দিতে ডাবটা আছে কিন্তু কোয়ালিটি খুবই খারাপ ইউটিউবে গুথলি লাডুটাও সেম কিন্তু গুথলি লাডুটা অতটা প্রমোশন পাইনি কিন্তু সিনেমাটা খুবই সুন্দর সিনেমা একদম রিয়েলিটিটাকে তুলে ধরেছে যে একটা ম্যাথরের ছেলে সে তাকে ম্যাথরই হতে হবে এটা আপার কাজটা বলছে তাকে স্কুলে কোথাও জায়গা দেওয়া হচ্ছে না বসার জন্য তাকে আলটিমেটলি একটা টাইমে দেখা যাচ্ছে যে হেড স্যার রয়েছেন তিনিও আপার কাছ থেকে বিলং করছেন তিনি একজন ব্রাহ্মণ সেও প্রথম দিকে তাকে ক্লাসে ঢুকতে দিচ্ছিল না কিন্তু সে পরে রিয়েলাইজ করলো যে এডুকেশনটা তো ফান্ডামেন্টাল রাইট সে পড়ার ইচ্ছা সে ম্যাথরের ছেলে হলেও তাকে যে ম্যাথরই হতে হবে তার তো কোনো মানে নেই তো আলটিমেটলি একটা সিনে এমনও দেখা গেছে যে তাকে বাধ্য হয়ে স্কুলের বাথরুমটা পরিষ্কার করতে হচ্ছে যেহেতু সে ম্যাথরের ছেলে এবং আলটিমেটলি সে স্ট্রাগল করে মানে নিজে থেকে স্ট্রাগল করে তাকে কেউ সাপোর্ট করছে না হেডমাস্টার ছাড়া তাও তিনি ইনডিরেক্টলি সাপোর্ট করতে পারছেন তো ফাইনালি সে স্কুলে ভর্তি হতে পারবে এটাই সিনেমাটার মেইন কনসেপ্ট
এটা তুমি বলে না হেরিডিটারি জবটাকে কন্টিনিউ